as well. Yeah.
And yes, sir. And the worst part of it, not the worst part of it, was to conceal the expenses of amphitheater and charge into different fund. That is Fund 353, which is citywide projects. And that was being done without your knowledge. You cannot move money from one fund, whether from amphitheater, without the council's consent. I'm doing the same, but you have to approve it.
So let me just make sure we stop right there and understand what you're saying. What you're saying is when you say being let down, you're being very kind in that this was concealed in some ways. Because
It involved personnel, so I can't.
well, when I say that, I'm saying not any particular person, but again, this particular event was actually moved from one category that had nothing to do with the operations of this facility, correct? In a unrelated category,
Yeah, from one fund to the other.
right? But totally two unrelated funds,
And no one can do that without your knowledge.
Understood,
right?
understood. All right.
If
What else?
there's any
Any questions?
question,
Ms. Sim?
comment,
When you, I got one question. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ms. Barber.
I'm going to try to speak very slowly and calmly so that I don't lose my cool. Can you hear me? Before I do that, I did write down some questions and points I want to ask. The first one is, what citywide projects, if any, could be or are potentially at risk due to lack of funding? Are you aware of any?
so citywide was made to cater for various projects. Like last year, we bought or we paid our 6 PD vehicles from there, 474,000. That's council approved. Amphitheater is one of them to take that one. Initially, you were getting money from there before you create the amphitheater itself. But eventually it became like a pass-through, because if it goes to amphitheater allocation, you have to approve it. But here it was not being approved by your council. But I will not go beyond that. As I said, that it involved personnel, so I can't go beyond that.
Okay.
You have the details.
Okay, I don't know if that's answered my question, but thank you. One of the other, well, this is a point I'll make. In December of 2022, the FY 2023 budget was approved for adoption with insufficient reporting of the actuals current year-to-date. I asked those questions specifically during the meetings. It's all on record. I've been asking for the financials prior to you, Mr. Malazi. Let me first thank you, sir. Thank you for all that you've done so far to get us to this point. Thank you for all that you've done to be more transparent in how our city is operating and how it has been governed in the past. The citizens deserve transparency. I've fought for that since I've been here. I've been asking for routine financial reports so that I could be more responsible in my decision-making prior to approving projects and expenditures. I've been fought on every turn. Every time I asked questions in regards to the financial status of our city, I was shut down by a member, several members of this council prior to Mr. Berry and while Mr. Berry has been here. I'm tired. to hear several members of this council now pretend as though, oh, they woke up and realized that we have not been good stewards of the taxpayer dollars. It's because you have not been holding staff accountable. You haven't been asking the right questions, and you've been targeting me for asking the questions. I'm trying to get financial information in regards to our city prior to you, Mr. Malazi. I'm not gonna go on a tangent or a rant here, because my questions and concerns are well documented over the past 5 years and 6 months. I understand the process, Mr. Malazi, you needing the council to approve this FY 2024 budget amendments so that you can complete the auditing process. I can't support this. I wouldn't have supported approving the budget amendments had they been brought to the council last year pertaining to the operations of the amphitheater or anything else. I wouldn't have approved it then, and I'm not going to approve it now. I implore my councilmates, hold staff accountable. I implore the community, hold your elected officials accountable for the decisions that they make and the decisions that they don't make. I'm so disappointed. I don't even know what to say. That's it. I have nothing more to say.
You have anything, sir?
Mr. Malazi, again, it's already been echoed. We really want to thank you for the work that you've done this year in presenting this and digging, doing the corrective digging. My short time here, just to kind of echo what's been said, I've also been a champion of asking the right questions and trying to get the information. My tactics may be a little bit different. My position may be a little bit different, but we all try to get to the end result, which is where we are today. I'm grateful that we're here now, and I'm hopeful that we can continue to operate the way we're operating now. And I'm hopeful that moving forward, whatever you need, we've already expressed that to you before, whatever you need from this council, you have our support.
All right, yes, oh, yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Just want to comment. I don't want to pinpoint and point fingers at each and every council member. That's not the case here. We haven't had, we had one amendment. That amendment was done, I want to say, was it this year or last year, 2024? August of 2024, in request for 500,000. Unfortunately, that's the only amendment that we had received. We hire staff to go over the budget, to look, it's the city manager's budget, right? He's to give us a proposal for the budget, and anytime there's an amendment to the budget, if we're to go over the budget, they are to, or we're close to going over, the job of the treasurer or the financial director is to notify of us of that, and that never took place. Now, I can speak for every single council member, to include Councilman Thomas. And I beg and plead of each and every one of you to look, don't look at the delusions, but read the facts. They are in black and white. And just one example of black and white are minutes to the meetings. All the minutes have been documented. There have been emails and open records requests. I am aware that there might even be somewhat of questions from some of our mayor and council could have very well sought their own legal assistance at trying to receive information. And it is from my understanding, some of those may have been dropped because what the record showed was that each and every single council member up here, at one point or another, have said it is that every council member should receive all information they request. That's one thing that's always stated throughout the minutes, as well as Each and every council member at some point has asked or requested for financial information. On April 25th, 2024, at our 8 o'clock city council meeting, that's some of our minutes, we talked about the amphitheater. I don't want to go and bring up every single little detail, but it says in here, and just a few highlighted things. One of the minutes say in here that during the discussion, one moment, Councilwoman suggested, I'm looking at this, I'm going to go through I'm going to go through a few. That council member, for instance, one of them, council member Gant questioned why the city interim treasurer, Lakeisha Gaines, was not in attendance to respond to financial inquiries for the city at that moment. And then we had Mayor Pro Tem Berry at the time. He requested the number of shows, gross alcohol sales, 2021, 22, 23, and later asked that 2021 not be excluded, noting that there were only being 2 shows that we included all. Councilwoman Barber stated she has made requests for the same, multiple requests for amphitheater financial reports of 2022, 2023. And it goes on. So we're all requesting, I'm sorry, this is just one example. We requested, and Mayor Ford even brought to the attention of Mayor and Council that we decided to hold off on making any decisions until we got a financial update, okay? So that's just one. Let me get out of that one. 1 second. I'm sorry, it's going to take me a second. I just want to make sure I get all of them for you that I really want to point out here. There was another date, and I don't have the actual date, but there is one that says Councilman Thomas stated and agreed that the council needs to see the data and information from prior years, 2022 and 2023, and offer the opinion to allow alcohol to be brought in for concerts. Councilmember Gant agreed that the financials for prior years should be submitted to the council and offer her support that alcohol should be allowed at the amphitheater concert. So evidently this particular hearing, and these are just snippets, okay? These are particular meetings where we're asking for financials. There's also Councilman Alexander who's saying the same thing. And then we go on. I'm going to go to some more.
I believe your point's well taken.
Well, no, I have one more, Mayor, that I really want to get my point across.
Can I help you, Councilman Gant?
Yes, one second.
Knowing what I know now, even you received those reports, wouldn't have given correct information.
I understand.
If you recall, October, I withdrew the financial report, if you recall.
I do recall.
So it's a report is a report, but is it correct report?
Correct. And so let me say this. We continue to ask for reports, and we receive reports. Some of the reports that we got said that we broke even. Some say we were just negative 65,000 or somewhere around that number.
I have that information I'll share with you.
Correct. But we also received a note. Here's one. Councilwoman Barber noted to the members of council should not micromanage the amphitheater, noting the amphitheater general manager should be working with the city manager who will keep the full council updated. And so this particular, Councilwoman Gant asked how the city can help market the amphitheater thereafter. So we were told not to micromanage, and that wasn't by us, that was by one of our other council members, correct? We, each and every person in here, and my whole point across, to get the point across, and I quote, it says, we should not micromanage the amphitheater, noting the amphitheater general manager should be working with the city manager who will keep us and the full council updated. Now, that particular note came from Councilwoman Barber, along with the other notes and emails even when requested, to what documents to receive. I have, for one, always said, in black and white, you can pull every open records request you would like. If one council member asks for a document, make sure that they get them. They should get them, they should receive them. Each and every council member, we all have a duty and a responsibility to do what's in the best interest of our city. But we hired staff to do it. And we hired staff to protect the city and to protect us because you're the people who are experts. The people, unfortunately, who hired us let us down. They didn't follow the policies and procedures in place, and they did not warn or give us those warnings. Instead, we received a note, we received information that stated that we were breaking even. And it was for the operation cost, not for the complete total enterprise. Let me be clear. In addition to saying that, if I'm placed, and I want to make this very clear, people who know me or don't know me should know this. If I ever get a warning that our financials aren't in order from our treasurer, and if the city manager or treasurer ever spoke to me, or anybody in the finance department ever spoke to me and said that we have a problem, that we're over budget, the very first thing I'm gonna do is stop, drop, and roll. Meaning I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna reach out to my mayor, I'm gonna ask for a special call meeting, I'm going to ask the mayor or the city manager what is going on and look into it, and I'm gonna notify each and every one of my council members. And anybody who's been placed on notice that we had an issue with our finances and that wasn't brought to our attention, would be just as guilty. And that's the comments I have. Because had I known immediately, like I do any other thing, and once I started looking into things, I immediately reached out to my colleagues. And that is the statement that needs to be across. And it's not about going around trying to make others look bad. My job is to fix the problem. The people that are here that did the problem or created the problem or didn't provide the notice of the problem are no longer present. And that's unfortunate. But what my job is to do is to not to make it look like I'm over here trying to hide something or like somebody's trying to do something underhanded. When each and every single council member up here, Mr. Alexander's in the minutes several times asking about finances. I'm in here asking about financials. Mr. Mayor Berry, Councilman Thomas, and Mayor Ford. There are minutes in the meeting that says that he even continued until we got certain information. We can only rely on the information that was given to us. And that is the point that I want to make. We move and shake based off of the level of expertise of the people who work here full-time Monday through Friday. Our job is to legislate and to make those decisions based off of the information that is given to us. If information is not given to us, we can't make the right decision. That's it.
Mr. Alexander, go ahead, please.
Let me just say this, and Councilwoman Gant, you're absolutely right in your assessment of what has taken place. Everybody up here has asked questions and gotten information that was erroneous. And we actually had a special call meeting last year at the amphitheater facility where we drilled down deep into what has happened. And the response from Councilwoman Barber was, stop micromanaging the amphitheater manager and the city manager. That was the response. Because I was the one leading the argument. Ms. Gant was chiming in, Mr. Barber, Mr. Berry also, Councilman Thomas was asking questions. We were trying to make decisions down to whether how alcohol affected the sales, down to that level, whether to allow alcohol in, outside alcohol or not, to fine tune, to make sure that we were looking to be profitable this year. And the first thing that we did, why did we make those moves in February? Because we had been asking questions all of the previous year. That's why, even though we did not know about the level of the losses, we had been asking questions, and some of the things that we were seeing along the way did not quite add up, and we were asking questions. So in an effort to get a better control over that, we brought a lot of the things in-house, as I indicated previously. We brought the vendors in-house, we brought all payments in-house, so that when we reached a level that would trigger the treasurer to alert us, and we knew that we had the right person in place with Mr. Malazi doing the work. And as as Councilman Berry has said, and Councilwoman Gant, and even Councilwoman Barber said, Mr. Malazi has done an amazing job. And with accurate information, you make good decisions. The one thing that I don't do, and I don't think anybody up here does, is to make decisions without the facts. Now, getting the reports that we got, we kept requesting them. Everybody requested them. Councilwoman Barber requested them. Councilman Gant did. Mayor Pro Tem Berry did. Councilman Thomas did. But when we got the document said, for this particular concert, we made a little money. For this particular concert, we lost a little bit of money. But we got an overall balance for a year that we ended up spending $10 million. That told us that we only spent $2.3 million through August. That report could not have had any touch with reality, because we ended up spending $10 million in 2023. And the report that we had saw when we had requested the information said that through the beginning of August, we had only spent $2.3 billion. There's no way that we could have spent an extra $8 million in that time. And no one sounded the whistle to say, this is what's going on, we need to do these transfers. And there's a reason that we have these city policies. These city policies are to protect the city and to protect the residents. And honestly, this is not over with yet. There's a long way to go. We will continue to look and continue to do the research till we find out where every dollar and every cent went, and every particular document will be scrutinized to determine how that document ended up being incorrect. That's what we're saying right now. That document was incorrect. But what went into making that document incorrect? What went into us getting erroneous information when we asked these questions? Because again, asking the question just begs the question, why was the information that we were given inaccurate in such a way that it painted a picture that wasn't attached to what the final numbers were again? And again, the work that Mr. Malazi has done reconstructing the last 3 or 4 years, now that we have accurate information, we made the decisions that needed to be made. And we're about solutions right now. The solutions, one of the first solutions was bringing Mr. Malazi aboard last year, before anybody started raising, before there was this public outcry or attachment. Make no mistake about it. This process has been ongoing. And if you did any open records requests, the documents that you were seeing were requested by somebody. Ask yourself that. The document that you got was already created. They were created because I asked questions, Ms. Gant asked questions, Mr. Berry asked questions. Those are the documents that you're seeing. You see the trail of us asking questions and getting the documents because you requested them already. Many of you have. Why were those documents created? Because we asked them to be created. And if you continue to follow the path, you will see more and more of them. And then you will see some of the outcomes that we will see. But one of the things that you don't do is you don't go out screaming the bullhorn when you're doing an investigation or you're actually looking to look for what's going on or trying to determine something. Why would you want to go out and alert everybody so that everybody's now looking over their shoulder when you're actually doing the work? The work was done openly and quietly, and through open records. You saw the work being done. But no one once thought, how did these documents that they're sending me get created? They were already there for you to see them. And certainly, there's a lot of questions that we want to ask too, because some of the things that you all think that we were aware of, like redactions, certainly I want to know what you saw and when you saw them and what was taken and what was removed. Certainly those type of things are something that we want to know the answer to as well, because certainly we trust staff to give you the information that is requested and move forward with, and how and who determined what you got and what you did not get. Certainly, we became aware of that, and certainly we want answers to that question too, is why were documents going out being redacted that we had no knowledge of, that they were being, that was happening. So in essence, what we want to do is to understand and have everybody to understand this is not the ending. This meeting is certainly not the ending. We might not have even reached the midpoint at this point. The investigation will continue to go on until we come up with every answer to every question. But certainly, I won't be out there screaming at every step of the way what we're doing, because some of the times you might not want to know, everyone to know. You want to, but it'll be available to every document will be available through open records. And certainly, you haven't heard the last of where this is going. There will be a resolution, and certainly that resolution will conclude all of the facts. Thank you.
Ms. Barber, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Gant she read the meeting minutes from April 2024, but she didn't read the other portions of my comments, in which I have consistently stated we need major sponsors to fund the operations of the amphitheater so that our city is not funding 100% of the cost. She didn't read that portion of the meeting minutes. But nonetheless, since January of 2020, when I was sworn in, I have been asking the same questions over and over. Why is information being withheld from me? Whether it's contracts or the financials. Just last month, I was waiting for Mr. Malazi, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot, to send to the full council all of the financials regarding the 2022, 2023, and 2024 expenses and revenues for the amphitheater, because he said that he was going to send it all to us. Well, council members are interfering. They're going directly to staff and telling them not to send the information to me specifically, and they're giving them misinformation, telling Mr. Malazi he reports directly to the mayor to send the financial information to the mayor, and the mayor would distribute it to the rest of the council. That's not how this works. That's not how this works at all. To suggest, since I've been on this council, there has been a consistent theme of there must be a consensus of 3 members of the council in order to receive information. That's false. That's false. You're misleading the public, and you misled me too, which is why I had to hire my own attorney and submit a demand letter in which y'all basically gave that the middle finger. I just got today information that was submitted to the city via my demand letter dated November 2024. I just received some information today that I requested back then. So if you think I'm real clear as to what has been happening, whole lot of council interference and a whole lot of staff that have been complying with that interference into the financials of the city. I've become a target a long time ago because I would not stop asking questions, and I'm not going to stop asking questions. I am not here for politics. Do right by the city. That's all I want. That is all I want. You now asking questions like you're oh so very concerned. No, you should have been concerned then when staff was not providing monthly, quarterly, or mid-year budget reviews. My requests are well documented. Me speaking so boldly during our public meetings, it was me raising the red flag to the public so that you all will hold these folks accountable, every one of them. It took me 10 months to receive independent audit results from our 2022 financials. All of them know, they all knew. Why weren't they asking? Why weren't they asking the same questions? Probably because they all received it. I had not. I had to jump through hoops to get 2022 financial results. It is really, I am flabbergasted that now I'm hearing council members here sounding so very concerned. These concerts are not free to the city. Somebody's got to pay for it. And the notion that one concert, the revenue from it, will pay for the next concert is all crazy. Crazy. But that is what your logic have been. That's what you all have been explaining to the public. I'm done.
Mr. Barrett, do you have any comments, sir? You haven't yet to speak. I just want to know if you have any comments at all.
I don't know if it's important to add anything at this point. I think the work has been done and everything's been stated that needs to be stated. For the sake of time, we need to get to the business of things.
Well, I just wanted to make sure I ask you that
I
question.
got nothing to add.
Sir, you're asking for, Ms. Malazi, you're asking for a motion to approve this adjustment here. And I agree with you, sir. We need to move on. And I understand, I understand that, but we need to honestly move on.
I understand, but
Okay.
I do have.
But we don't need to keep going back and forth.
We're not going to go back.
I don't know about all that because,
No, we
I want
don't.
stand by, please. Yes, Miss Holiday. Yeah, go ahead. Well, Ms. Gant.
Thank
No,
you.
hold on, no, I'm not done. We need to finish this. We need to finish this with this vote.
I agree.
So,
It's almost over.
excuse me?
It's almost over. It's just, I want to go through 3 bullet points right here, and it's not long. I'm just reading it
See,
straight
the
forward.
point of it is,
There's a-
point, another point.
I thought we had 2 responses.
Well,
This is
how
my
about
second.
this? How about we go ahead and make a motion to vote?
Well, Mayor, from my understanding, we had 2 responses, and I think that
You did
that
not
it would be-
respond, you responded more than twice already?
No, I responded once. I read the minutes of some of the meetings, just a small example.
I need a motion to accept this.
I promise you I'll make the motion after this, but I really want to respond to this.
I understand that. I
I
understand.
understand.
Okay, I need a motion to accept Ms. Malazi's presentation. So moved. Okay, is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion? No second to the motion.
I need to respond first.
I guess you got your chance to respond, so I don't have a second to the motion. We need to prove is what he's asking.
Okay. Mayor, if I can make a motion, but before I make the motion, I would like to respond to something real quick.
The intent is for what he presented to us to be passed.
I
I
understand,
don't
and my
have a second to
question
the motion.
is,
Right now, we're at a standstill.
well, may I comment before we make the motion, before I second the motion?
If it's going to help us get the motion
It will help
done
us get the motion
without a
done.
counterpoint here?
It will.
Go ahead, Ms. Gamble.
Okay, all right. Just a few pointers real quick. All of us want major sponsors. We've always asked for sponsors. We love our sponsors. There have been opportunities, and we've been told before there have been opportunities for sponsors, and sometimes we weren't able to get sponsors, or the sponsors were looking at some of our meetings at our behavior, just like the city managers that were pending. Sometimes that we've been told that we can't get certain sponsors, or certain sponsors walked away from deals, or certain people who applied for city manager positions may have walked away by looking at some of our meetings. So, and that's in 22, and so I just want to point that out. In regards to the city manager receiving financials directly, the city manager, our mayor is our interim city manager at this time. Based off of the org chart, from my understanding, the treasurer or the director of finance is to report to our city manager, which is now the mayor, or you can report to all of
I
us.
report to council.
Okay, good. So you report
Or ma-
directly to
or
mayor and
mayor.
council. But I wanted to bring that into attention. No one has said that there has to be a consensus to receive information. There has to be a consensus to vote on an issue, not to receive documents and information, knowledge. So if I, for instance, asked our HR or asked our assistant city, or asked our clerk for some information, I wouldn't need a consensus of 3 people to get that information. It's just information. It takes a consensus to move something or a process and procedure to be in place or go along, to pass an ordinance, to pass a resolution. Those are what consensus takes to direct staff to go in a particular manner. But to ask for information, that information is used for us each to make our own educated decisions on the way we're going to vote. That is something that I just want to make clear of. And I also recommend, and I highly, highly, highly ask that you just go and look through the minutes. Go and read each and single every time, or go look at some of those emails that some of you requested. And I can guarantee you, there's not one time where we say don't give somebody some information, or that we too want the information, or provide us with a copy as well. I think each one of us has our own style of doing things. My style may very well be different than someone else's style. I don't believe in you have to be loud to get what you want. I believe that you can talk and try to figure out what's going on without necessarily showing your hand. And so I'm not saying that one person I'm responsible for taking it up for another person on this council, none of that. It's all about just each person has their own way and own style of leadership. That doesn't mean we're not trying to get to the same point and position. Some of us are quiet, and we're not just being passive. We're gathering up as much information as we can first. Why show your hand? That's that's the way I look at it. Having said that, Mayor, I second the motion to approve. I will second the motion.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Barry made a motion. You second that motion?
Correct.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, please indicate. All opposed?
I oppose based on principle. That's
right.
for the record.
All right, 3. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I do need to respond.
You need to respond? Go ahead. You got the right vote. 3-1 vote. It passed. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Councilman Alexander, you asked a question regarding open records redaction
Yes.
and why the public was not receiving information that was not redacted, and you were questioning why they received it that way. I will tell you that the clerk's office, especially Cassandra Lester, does an amazing job with the voluminous open records report requests that we have received over the last 2 or 3 years. We redact in our office standard, basic, open records information that is confidential information, emails, phone numbers, date of birth, and that. Anything other than that is at the direction of legal. The clerk's office is the one that actually performs the redaction, but we receive directives on specific information to be redacted other than the standard redaction information.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Maybe we'll have some personnel discussions in executive session. So I think that would be the next step. So certainly answers are due, and we will certainly explore that.
Mr. Malazi, we have council consideration to adopt a federal financial reports procedures and pragmatic process report procedures, it has here. You, sir, are going to brief on that.
Thank you, Mayor. Our audit 2022, 23, 21, 22, 23, in each of those audits, we were, I would say, written up, or we had been told that our reporting was not up to the standard. One of them was the non-budgeted spending. We would spend where it was not budgeted. Remember, when the audit is up, we have to give it to Government Finance Officers Association, it's a requirement. We have one to give to Georgia State, the audit. If we have got grants, they will share with the federal government. And then when they say, especially when we receive any amount that is over 500,000, we will have single audit. And in all our audits, they found out that we were not following the procedures agreed during the receipt of our grants.